And you can't believe who's on set with me today. Art Laffer, former Reagan economist, Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, and author of the aforementioned Taxes Have Consequences, and the great Steve Forbes, Forbes media chairman and editor-in-chief, and author of Inflation, What It Is, Why It's Bad, and How to Fix It. You know, send the annotated version of the inflation book to Biden, will you, please? He does not understand any of this. I begin with you, Steve Forbes.
I'm sending him a big print version with comic book pictures in it. So
big print, yeah. A big print book. I mean, so you know, he's the most anti-business president, and he has no. It's all about class warfare. I mean, this whole business is about middle out, bottom up, top down doesn't work. Reaganomics doesn't work. I mean, that's all it is. This is the economic version of all this Marxist, cultural, woke class warfare.
It's not about growth. They don't care about growth.
Right.
What they care about is power. They'd rather have an economy that is weaker if they control it. That's why they want to control your shower heads. Mm-hmm. That's why they want to control what you eat with pizza now, how you cook pizza, for crying out loud. Mm-hmm. The whole thing. And they're not going to stop. And the thing is, it's not just Biden. That's why you got to start with the presidency. He could go and they could put Kamala in, and you get the same policies and give her the things to read so she wouldn't have word salads anymore. And then go about. These people infest all of the regulatory agencies. You see it with the FTC going against Amazon. What's Amazon's big sin? Why, the button to subscribe to Prime is bigger than the button to decline. Oh, my goodness, they got to take over Amazon. And 6 clicks to unsubscribe, whereas, as been pointed out, it takes 7 clicks to make a public comment to the FTC.
Is that their case? I mean, I didn't even know the details.
Yeah.
You said it almost 2 years ago on this show. This is modern socialism through the regulatory state. It is central planning. Arthur, they are against business, large businesses, small businesses. And I will say to you, if you're against business, you're against the worker. The worker bears the brunt of these regulations and taxes. That was proven with the Reagan tax cuts, the Kennedy tax cuts, the Trump. I mean, really, you can't be for the worker. You can't be for the employee and hate the employer.
True. I mean, labor and capital are partners in the production process, not opponents. You know, taxi cab drivers without taxi cabs don't do very well. Yes. And taxi cabs without drivers don't do very well until Elon Musk gets in there and does this magical thing or whatever. You know, when you say a rising tide raises all boats, let me give you the first 2 lines before that conclude. No American is ever made better off by pulling a fellow American down. And we're all made better off whenever any one of us is made better off. Then the next line in Kennedy's speech was, a rising tide, it raises all boats. Right. The first 2 are critical because we don't have class warfare in this country. It has to be manufactured. You know, there's no way that blacks are going to do better because whites do worse, or whites do better because blacks do worse, or male, female, old or young, and any of that. We're partners all in this thing, Larry. We're all in the same tub together. And if you do well, I do well, Steve does well, the world does well. It's not us versus them. It's us in partnership with them. And that's why I'm very worried about trade as well, because it's not just the U.S. It's the world economy as well. We benefit from foreign trade with foreigners, and they benefit from it with us. And not only do we benefit from each other, Larry, but we get to know each other. And once you get to know each other, you can have good dialogue and discussion, and you can solve problems without threatening borders. You can solve them by conversations. Well, I didn't never see it that way, but this is where we need to partnership with the world, partnership with our fellow Americans.
I can go through the entire Biden speech today, which is just a rehash of his other stuff. He does not use the phrase economic growth. He does not use the phrase freedom. He does not use the phrase prosperity. I mean, I think those are fatal flaws, and to not understand that. America is about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. America is about economic freedom. But America, go back to Arthur's point, America is about prosperity for everybody. You can't take one and pit them against the other. And the fact that these people keep doing that is just driving me crazy.
Well, as Abraham Lincoln put it, the dream in America is, as he said, the opportunity to improve your lot in life, no matter where you begin. That's why you have immigrants trying to get into this place, not leave it, as they do places like North Korea or Cuba. And they don't understand America, and I don't think they really appreciate America. I think some of these people infesting this administration are anti-American.
Yes, I do.
They want to fundamentally change the country.
They hate America.
Because they think
they hate America.
They think we're the curse of the world instead of the savior of the world.
The left hates America.
And the blunt truth is, after World War II, when we did things largely right, the whole world became more prosperous in ways they couldn't have dreamt after World War II.
Democrats, I just want to make this point, speaking as a former Democrat, but Democrats historically have not hated America.
No.
This brand of far-left demagoguery from the Socialist Democratic Party is a different type Democrat, and they hate America. They don't like anything about us. They don't like our history. They don't like our free market capitalism. They don't like growth and prosperity.
And the biggest anti-communists after World War II and the Cold War, the labor unions.
Yes.
Headed by the FLC.
Ronald Reagan.
I just want to, right. No, it's an important point.
He was the union leader.
It's an important point
America.
because people will say we are being partisan. We're really not being partisan. If John F. Kennedy emerged again today with across-the-board reductions in marginal tax rates, you would back him.
Of course.
I would back him. You would back him, too. If we had somebody come and we want a sound, steady, reliable dollar based on gold or some commodity index as the numeraire, you would back a Democrat who did that.
Perfect.
You would. By the way, it would be good.
Let me just say.
I'm just saying, though, these are important points to make.
Let me just say with you.
I'm not being partisan here.
Well, let me just say, there is someone today who is a Democrat whom I back totally, Jared Polis of Colorado. And he is a Kennedy Democrat. He's a pro-growth person. He's cut the property tax. He's cut the income tax. He's done price transparency in Colorado. This guy is a Democrat. He's going to be the new Democrat. Democrats aren't our problem.
Well, he's got to run for president. You can't do it from Denver, Colorado. You have to make him run for president.
I'll try. I do my best.
Otherwise, his brand of old-style Democratic thinking or JFK Democratic thinking will never get outside of Colorado.
Did you see Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s speech? Did you see the sign he had up? He said, "I'm a Kennedy Democrat." I don't know if you found that humorous, but, you know, many of the ways, I mean, he doesn't have it all right by any means, but he does have a lot of it right. Bob Kennedy Jr.
Steve Forbes, though. Okay, we can talk about personalities. We have our Unleashed Prosperity dinner tonight, and we will talk some more politics. But I think it's telling. I know polls are polls, and polls aren't votes. I get that. But the polls consistently say that Americans don't like what Biden is doing. And the more he does it, the less they like it. And he seems disinclined, Steve, he and his circle, to change this class warfare, anti-business, anti-labor economic policy.
Yeah, he's in a bubble. They send him out spouting this nonsense, which people can see it's not working. But the whole point of the far left is get as much as you can done while the getting is good, and let the Republicans, if they get in, try to undo it. They'll fight them in the courts, and they'll try to get issues like abortion and other things to try to muddy the waters in terms of what really affects this country in the future. And so the Republicans have got to start also. I understand they want to do border, and that's good stuff. But they have to also have that Reagan-esque, Kemp-esque kind of pro-growth platform to say, here's how we make America better and have a better future for you.
No, I love
economics.
Unleashed Prosperity. Democrats are wholly now totally the party of government planning. That's it.
That's it.
And Republicans should make it very clear they are the party of free enterprise. We need, when I say, I mean, Coolidge may have been right. America, you know, business is, what was Coolidge just saying?
He said the business
of America is business. Because the point is,
idealism of America is idealism.
And you and Kevin Hass said those corporate tax cuts of a few years ago, the biggest beneficiaries were not rich people. They were middle-income, blue-collar workers and lower-income workers. They were the biggest beneficiaries.
Amazing benefit.
Everything Biden says about that is wrong. But Reagan had across-the-board tax reductions and business tax reductions. It's the same thing. Income inequality fell, poverty fell, growth exploded. They can't. Government will not do it. Sorry.
I got one last.
Quick.
I'm just saying regulations. Instead of saying regulations are bad, say what kind of pizza do you want? regular pizza, pizza that tastes like oil.
We're having pizza. We're having
choice.
pizza tonight at the dinner.
Reagan
No,
healed
we're
the
not.
sick and Biden has infected the healthy.
Oh.
I've worked on that for quite a while to get that one down. But Reagan really did heal the sick.
Even John Maynard Keynes would roll over in his grave. Keynes would say, "Stop! Enough already! Enough already."
That was the story Hayek always told about him, by the way, that Keynes said, I'm going to take my followers and reverse them, and that he was going to do that, and I will do that, and then bang,
Right.
he died.
We're going to get John Maynard Keynes on the set, hopefully next week. We have Art Laffer and Steve Forbes, two of the best.